Welcome, and thank you so much for listening to our next episode of On a Trip podcast. Aleks and I, went on separate Christmas family vacations, and the holidays are always a great time to reflect on the year and how you've grown up over the years, and being with family is one of the best ways I've seen to do that. So we talk about our trips, we talk about the insights that we got from them, and we're excited to share it with you guys. Thank you for listening.
So we want to do our first intro. No. Just me laughing and you say no. On a trip. On a trip. On a trip. On a trip.
Chris, will you stop twerking?
I'm not twerking, I'm flossing.
Stop. Will you stop rap dancing? Will you stop doing the millennial shit?
Okay. All right. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
I'm nervous that it's not recording. I don't know.
This is how close I was when I think this is how close I was. I'm not too far away.
Oh, yeah, that's like mid-range.
That's mid-range?
Yeah.
So this is good right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to kill the lights out here.
Yeah, we don't want those interrupting our sound.
Hello. My name is Alexander Davignon.
And I'm Christopher Sabo.
Sabo. We're in squeaky chairs.
Yep.
So forgive us.
If they squeak on you.
We kind of perpetually do this.
Yep.
But we both just got back from some trips.
We did.
And Chris went on 2.
I went on 2 because I trip a lot.
I see.
Entendres.
So tell us about your first trip.
So I went to Ohio for Christmas vacation.
Youngstown?
No, not even close. Not like the band. I went to Akron, Canton, Ohio. Shout out. Yeah, my mom's entire side of the family grew up there. My mom grew up there, obviously, because she's my mom's side of the family. We'll just cut that in post. And we like go there like every other year growing up to like hang with cousins and aunts and uncles and do like a variety of trips. And
Well, it was for Christmas.
This one was for Christmas, yeah, right.
Okay.
But it was good because my mom just like has like had this like empty nest syndrome since like all the kids grew up, and one went to Canada, another to California, and now my brother's in New York, so we're like all spread out.
Yeah.
And she just has this empty house with like 2 cats. So it was nice to kind of have my brother and my sister, and we were all back there for that. There's a thing. Like for me on family vacations growing up, I always wanted to be the mature one because growing up I was, this like rambunctious, just like annoying ball of energy. Still kind of am, but especially growing up. And so it was always on vacations. I wanted to be like around the extended family and be like, oh, I hope I can show them that I'm like really mature and like I'm an adult this time and like I can be like really cool and they're like, et cetera, et cetera. And so it was really funny on this trip because like I've done like a lot of like personal growth in like the last year, and like literally on this trip I like got in, saw all my family, and like woke up the next morning and like did my morning regiment and like was helping my mom with the dishes and like doing things throughout the week, and like it was just like a different, like it's a space I've been in, but it was like different, like it just felt like this like new, I don't know, like adult. I mean, it's like I've already been an adult, but it's like this new adult part of life.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So that was nice, and like we spent the week like catching up with our relatives, but like it's the dynamics change because like it's like both my cousins are married and they both have their own houses now, and my grandma's in she's in a nursing home right now, and so it's like the dynamics, like not everybody like goes to grandma's house and we all like go to like the pool or something like that. Right. It's like the dynamics are so different, but it was good because I like got in, and my brother and my sister were there, and like the first couple of days was like catching up with family, and I do a pretty good job of staying in touch with them, but it was just kind of like nice to just like be around them, but also like, it's like you grow up with all these people for your entire life, and it's like you see through their changes and the different chapters, and so it's like I feel like we're all entering this new stage where we're like we're all each in our places. We're doing our things. Like my brother's getting engaged. My sister's like finding new work. I'm doing my work. And it's just like, just the dynamic of the relationship has like changed. Like we don't have like, I mean, we still have like the annoying sibling like rivalries, but like it's like different. Like we can all like crack jokes at each other and we all laugh about it.
Right.
It's not like some person feels ostracized or something.
Right.
So it's like, it was really nice. And like, you know, me and my brother would stay up till like 2 a.m. almost every night playing Mario Party and drinking, and
Awesome. That's fucking awesome.
great. I had a couple nights where I got to hang out with like my uncle and like have like pretty deep talks with him too, just about like stuff going on in his life. And so yeah, it was just nice to just like, especially after like the last year that I've had, just to be in a different space and like be like happy with them, but also just be like just like appreciative, I guess.
Yeah.
It was really nice. It was a really nice trip.
What was the Christmas like? Like, what was the morning or like the night?
So my
I want to look at the audio real quick.
yeah.
Want to see it? Still going? Yeah, we're good. All right.
Oh, good.
Just making sure. Okay. Don't want to lose the file.
So
We're amateurs.
we're amateurs. We don't know what the hell we're doing.
And we have no way to monitor.
We don't. It's just the two of us. We're just hoping.
We're basically in a broom closet with a bunch of soundproofing material around.
You could fit some big brooms in here. They're like Harry Potter style broom closet. Like
Yeah, you could probably fit like 40 of those brooms in
yeah,
here.
at least 40 Nimbus could fit in here pretty easily. That's for another podcast. Anyways, so my Christmas.
I'm actually looking at that. I'm like, I was considering. I was looking at the room.
That's like one. That's like a 4 foot, 4
stack 'em,
foot.
like, like if you put them all in one corner.
But Christmas with my family. So we have a tradition where Christmas Eve we watch The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Dude, I love that movie.
Who doesn't love
I
that movie?
fucking
It's the
love that
best.
movie.
It's the best.
Papa Gino. Oh, Chris Kringle's coming down the street in a Panzer.
When I wake up, I'm getting a CAT scan. I didn't know what that was for most of my life, and I would
but
always
it's
make
just
the
fun to
joke.
yell.
Oh, it's so fun to yell.
Yeah, great fucking movie.
But yeah, so we watched The Santa Claus, we watched Elf, we watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Also fucking great. Shitter's full.
It was great. Oh, it was great. But yeah, and so we went to bed, woke up the next morning, and it's nice to be in that phase of life where we don't have to stress about Christmas gifts. Like I'm just like, guys, we all flew here. Just like if you get me a present, cool. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And like we've kind of gotten lazy with it. Just be like, just get me this. It's like we put
literally just buy this for me.
Literally, here's a link. Just
Right.
just buy it.
Just click it and put your card in.
Yeah. So yeah, we like opened our various gifts, and my mom started this recent tradition where she likes to give us lottery scratch-offs.
Okay.
And I win every single year.
Nice.
So last year I won $20. This year I won $12, and it's great because then you can like go out to like lunch and like be like, I got this one, guys.
$12.
$12.
What does $12
You get a bag of
get you?
Cheetos. You get a bag of Cheetos.
Just like, what the fuck would $12 get you? Where you can
Okay,
like
it just buys my lunch and it
No,
makes
this
my
is-
pocket
it's
happy.
not
so
1940.
It's not. But yeah, so we had like our lottery scratch offs and our like stockings and like we're opening gifts and me and the siblings, like my mom, so she just like she'll appreciate like the smallest of things. Like she's such a sweetheart, and we all the siblings we chipped in and we got her AirPods this year. Because like she talks on the phone all the time, and like she like will rip the cords out of her earbuds because she'll get them caught on things in the kitchen while she's trying to clean and cook. So yeah, so we like got her that, and she was like ecstatic.
Dope.
And that made our Christmas. That was pretty nice. But yeah, and then the other tradition we have is we usually have monkey bread in the morning on Christmas morning.
And
do you know what? You don't know what monkey bread is?
Never heard of it.
Well, for all of our viewers listening, which is probably 4 people, monkey bread.
If that.
If that, maybe 3.
Thanks for listening, Babs.
Monkey bread is it's bread obviously, but it's like drizzled in this like caramel cinnamon like. And it's like hardened on it, so it's like
some Midwest shit.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. You're gonna get diabetes from this, and you just pull it off in chunks.
That sounds great.
Oh, it's so
Sounds
fantastic.
so fucking great.
Like, but it was really funny.
And you smoke Marlboros, have a couple hot dogs.
It's great. That's
shotgun
great.
a couple fucking Michelob Ultras.
Go out in the back, shoot some squirrels. It's great. But it was like it's really funny because like this is the first trip where all of us siblings have like I mean, we've all changed our diets, but this was the first one we were all like, Mom, we don't want to have too much sugary stuff. My mom like baked this platter of cookies, all this monkey bread. She's like,
where's
she's like, where's it gonna go? Where's the? Do your friends want cookies? Do you want to take cookies home?
Did you steam any of this? Like, is this all just baked goods?
Oh my
I don't
God.
eat bread.
Oh, so much sugar.
That's amazing.
It was-
I ate every single piece.
Yeah,
I've been like, fuck this. It's the holidays. Man.
Exactly. That's we were like, it's the holidays. It's whatever.
I love that there's one point of the year that everyone is just like, fuck it.
Yeah, and like I think you should you got to have a healthy balance in life.
For
like,
sure,
Like
for sure.
like you and
Yeah,
I were
cheat
both.
days.
Yeah, like you and I were both really healthy people. But like today, like literally before we came here, like you like went to an AM PM. You're like, I'm gonna have a hot dog and a coffee.
Yeah.
And it's like.
And a bag of chips.
Yeah, and I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, God, that's so unhealthy. But I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure you did this last week, Chris.
right. And then I was rationalizing it. I'm like, dude, I literally drink kale like, in the morning. I drink a blended kale with an entire banana and an entire avocado every fucking morning. And I have like the fucking pill set up, like where it's like, you know, I do fine. I exercise every fucking day. Like I eat like a fucking like an angel. I eat salads fucking all the time. Drink a shit ton of water.
Garden angel.
A garden angel.
Like not a guardian angel, a garden.
Angel is what they in the ancient
the new slang.
Celtic folklore. It's making its rounds. We're not funny. We're not funny.
I think we're funny. I think we're hilarious.
Well,
I think it's got to be the personality trait you have in the most in yourself is like you got to think you're funny because if you're not going to think you're funny, no one else is. It's kind of like you got to love yourself before anybody else can love yourself. You got to laugh at yourself before anyone else
Jesus,
can laugh.
put
at
on
you.
a trust the process.
It's just like,
Jesus Christ.
anyways, on episode 2 of Living Your Truth with
fucking-
Oprah.
Any floppy hats and flash tattoos we could fucking put on? Any dangly beads?
It's funny because that's how I dress. Anyways,
That's true.
but yeah, what about you, man? What Christmas tradition? What Christmas traditions?
Well,
you
we
have?
do the tree pickle, which is pretty common.
I'm sorry, what?
The tree pickle?
Is it like a? Is it like the star? Is it like a pickle instead of the star? Or is
No.
Like
So,
hide a
so
pickle?
how this works is, well, we weren't at home this year. Typically, we have it at my parents' house. They live in this like really pretty old like 1930s fucking mini mansion up in the hills, and like we go to their house, and my mom decorates the whole fucking place like Martha Stewart, and like it literally looks like a magazine cover, and like. There's a lot of repression, but like we went. We usually have this thing where like we open all of our shit on. We have everyone over to the house. We have dinner, like grandma, aunts, uncles, fucking cousins. Everyone comes over. We have a giant spread. The whole family's there. Everyone's talking shit, getting drunk, and then like go into the living room and everyone. We do like a white elephant thing so everyone doesn't destroy their wallets.
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
but last year. I was like, it was a pretty good year for me, so I was just like, fuck it, I'm still gonna get a gift for everybody. So I showed up with like, here's yours, and here's yours, and here's the ones for the cousins, and here's the ones for the aunt. There's Aunt Stacy. There you go, Uncle Jason. Like I was just fucking handing out gifts. And my sister shows up. She's like, I didn't bring anything.
Oh no.
And like, but we typically do all that Christmas Eve night, and then we'll during the night, either my mom or my dad, probably my dad, goes down, and we've been doing this since we were kids, and we have like this little pickle ornament, and that we just like hang in the tree somewhere, and we have to find the pickle in the morning. I don't know. I have no fucking explanation
That's
for it.
amazing, though.
But it's like a little like porcelain like glittery pickle that we like hang off the tree.
Where did it
somewhere.
come from?
My mom just like started this. I found a pickle, and it's like became. It's a pretty common thing. Like other people have, like do it.
It's a thing?
The Christmas pickle, yeah. It's like a Christmas
Is it
tree
like
pickle.
Elf on a Shelf? It's like that
I don't know
kind
what
of
that
thing?
is, but like. See, there's these
these traditions.
This is good.
Yeah, you get to learn about pickles, you get to learn about elves.
But this year my sister just moved to New York City. She moved to Brooklyn, and she's.
My brother just moved to Brooklyn.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
She's studying art there, and like.
my brother's not.
She's good for him. And it's her first year that she lived in Long Beach before that, and then she lived in San Diego. But we were like, well, my dad, everyone was like Thanksgiving was like, fuck, we should do like Christmas in New York, fuck it. And like, I was like, all right, well, you guys know I have no money, so let's go. Sure. I'm like, I literally said, tell me where to go and when, and I'll be there. And like, that's. It was so funny, because we were talking about it. We're like, I think the last time we've all, like, just us four been on like a trip, like the last time was like, I grew up very suburban. So it was like, I think the last time we were on a family vacation was skiing in Mammoth with the Volvo. You know, it's like it literally was the last time. I was like 14, I think, the last time we all went on like a family vacation together.
Yeah, because like as you get older, I feel like it's like you go to like basically your mom or your dad's house, or everybody comes home or something like that.
Right.
Like there's no like family vacation.
Yeah. And like my mom is, she's 65, my dad's 64, and like my sister's 33, I'm 30. And so it's been over, 15 years since like we've gone on a trip together. And like so much has changed in 15 years. Like
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into it. Like, and it's just funny how the dynamic completely returned. Like, my sister's pissed off at my mom because she thinks my mom's like a Stepford wife, and she's like a super progressive like feminist, and like they're kind of like the one day that like they go do their thing together. They went to see a show together, and like my dad and I went drinking with one of his buddies, and so my dad and I just had this great fucking time, like drinking with this guy, sharing stories, and just like. It was fucking awesome. Like we were laughing literally the entire time, and we come back and we're like riding that high, and then the gals come in, and then like they just immediately they get to us, and then they split apart. My mom goes to my dad, and my sister goes to me, and then we just walk in two separate groups, and then my dad and I's demeanor both completely changes to just like, no, it literally just changes to like, and then what did she say?
Oh no!
And it's like it sucks, man, because it's like. I don't know, being the baby, you kind of like absorb everyone, and like I just wanted to like mediate, and like I tried my best to not like step on anyone's feelings, and like I would hear everyone out, and my mom would be like, she's just so like she's so stubborn, and she's so like strong-headed, and she's so like, and Angela's just like, yeah, she can walk fast. I know she can walk fast. Like she was like she like wants to be babied, and it's like this whole thing. I'm listening to both of them. I'm like, and what else, And then my dad is just like, that's how it always was. Is like my mom would be this like, she'd be like this controlling in this weird way. My dad, well, my mom would be like controlling in this weird way. My sister would be like rebelling against it, like to her face, like just not polite, like not like just straight at her. And I'm like, dude, give the lady a break. She's like, you have to understand what world she comes from anyway. And then my dad's just kind of like, another martini, please. Yeah, where's the bill? Thanks. And signs it. And he's just like, cool, I want to go see this cool building. Like, he's just totally checked out and like just does not invest and involve himself at all. And then I'm kind of just like on the back end of it. And like, I remember we went to dim sum the first night we were there. We went to Chinatown, and we went to this bar, and like, we used to have this tradition in our family called the love tree, and like what we would do is, well, it was my mom's thing. She's a really sweet person, and she would like every day. There were two different trees by the back door. And one was for Angela, little like mini Christmas trees that are like 1.5 feet tall or whatever, and there'd be one for my sister and one for me. And as we'd leave for school, like we'd take a piece of candy, and there'd be attached to like a little note. You open it up, and it'd be like, "I love how hard you work," or whatever. It's like a nice little thing. And it was from December 1st until Christmas. It was just called the Love Tree. So there's one for every day, kind of like a little advent calendar.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
And so like we didn't do it this year because we haven't done it for the last few years. We went to this dim sum place, and that was the night I started drinking again. So just for the listeners, like I went 208 days no booze, and then when I was out there, I was like, fuck, it's the holidays, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. So I had a couple drinks, and like everyone was kind of like red in the face, and just kind of like the ears are all red. Everyone's kind of like a little loose, and everyone's kind of like, fucking eating like dumplings. And I ripped out 4 pages of my wallet/journal thingy, and I was like, all right, since we didn't do the love tree this year, I'm gonna try to fucking find a way to glue this fucking unit back together. And I was like, everyone take a piece of paper, and then like each piece of paper is going to represent one family member. And then I would, like mine was Angela's, and then I would write like everything that I loved, like a couple things that I loved about Angela, and then pass that to my mom, and then she'd write a couple things that she loved about Angela, and it would go around the circle, everyone got one. And then I was like, all right. And then my mom's like, okay, let's read them. And then my sister's like, no. My dad's like, no, we're not fucking reading these. It's like, no, you take those, put those away in your wallet, and you read them later by yourself. And I was like, all right. But like my mom and I are totally like everything's nice and fun and fun. Like my mom, my dad and my sister are like, no, let's just.
What are the feelings? I don't want to do this shit.
Exactly.
It's public.
Yeah. And like, but it was I tried to make that happen, just because I want my family to realize that these 3 people, like in your existence, at least for Angela and I, like I try to I'm not trying to like teach my sister, but like I try to show her like, hey, these two people make up who you are in a lot of ways, outside of your own personal experience and discoveries and whatever. But like they know everything about you, and they know every dark little thing. Not every dark thing, but they know who you are all the way to your core, and they're not always going to be here. And like this is probably the last like time we're gonna be together.
Right.
Like as a unit somewhere else together.
Right.
Like all in New York City together. And
and I had that same thing with my family. Like it was like very much like, because my brother's gonna be married by this time next year or this year, I guess. And so it's like he's gonna be like splitting his time, and then like my sister is like, she's very set in Canada and she can't travel a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of my own stuff, so it's like our schedules now are so like sporadic. It's like, I get that 100%. Like we all agreed like this is probably one of the last Christmases we can all really have as a family unit.
In one place. Yeah, it was just so funny how I just like, my parents are so nice, they got me my own like hotel room and shit. I'm not gonna sleep in a hotel with my parents, but like it was just nice. I was like, they were like, oh, you can stay with like one of Angela's friends. It was like she has 3 cats, and I'm like, I'm really allergic to cats, you guys. I'm gonna be miserable for 5 days.
Right.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Is it possible to get like just my own room? Like, I don't care where it is. Like, I just can't. I could sleep anywhere, Airbnb, whatever. I just don't want to be in that particular situation if I can have the choice. And I already felt like a douche for being like that, but like, it was so funny how like when we'd all like Angela would like get on the train and go home, and like my parents would go back to their room and then I'd go to my room, and even though we're in New York City, it still felt like we were in our house. And like mom and dad are in their room and like I'm in my room like watching cartoons and like writing shit or whatever, or listening to some podcast, and then like my sister is doing whatever she's doing with her friends or in her room, and then like my parents are in their room, and it's like even though we're split up by hotels and streets and this whole city, the whole dynamic still felt like our house. And like I don't know, there's a lot of throwback stuff like, oh yeah, this is like what my role used to be. I used to go to each person and like hear them out, and then like absorb the information, and then wait till someone else approached me about the situation, and then I'd be like, well, this is actually how they feel about it. And like I found myself in this like kind of referee position again. And it's like it's a really it's frustrating, but you just have to absorb it all. You can't spit it back out, because it's then you're definitely not, then you're joining them in what they're doing. And like they're all spewing shit on each other, so there has to be one person that's not turning around pain and spitting it back out. You just have to absorb it, turn it into love in your heart, and then spit the love back out on them.
Okay. Spit the love back out on them. That's going to be podcast number 2 that we're going to be going down. Actually, that's what we're going to call this one. It's going to be called Spit the Love on Them.
Yeah, spit love all over them.
Right
between
love.
the two. Excuse me.
I knew where that was going. Anyways.
You went there.
Sorry, Mom.
And Mom, you're not listening to this.
Yeah,
there's no way. You don't even know what podcasts are.
No, she's like, how's that podcast going? I told her, I was like, yeah, Mom, did a podcast, start to great shit. She's like, where's this podcast? When can I listen to it? I want to share it on Facebook.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, I'll talk to my mom. We're pretty open about stuff.
I want to ask you about Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Check that we're still rolling. We are.
Nice.
Okay, good. We still haven't fucked this up. This is great.
That's good. I was going to mention, like, just going off of, like, the family stuff. Like, I have, like, kind of like a similar dynamic. Like, I'm the middle child in my family. Yeah. So it's, like, older sister, younger brother. And, like growing up, my mom always got the comment from, like, teachers and, like, coaches and stuff that, like, your children all have drastically different personalities. Like, it was like me and my sister butted heads, me and my brother butted heads, my brother and my sister butted heads, like, and like my dad was always the one trying to like contain it all and control it. My mom was just like, help. And so it's like it's been an interesting dynamic with that, especially since my dad passed away about a decade ago. And so it's like my mom's kind of like, obviously we were already grown up, but like my mom's now been introduced as like this, had to like change in this role in a lot of ways over the years. And I feel like she's getting really into her element now of just like being like, okay, well, I'm doing my thing and I'm here to support my children and I love my children, but like they're doing their things and I'm going to start really doing my own thing. Yeah. And like this was the first Christmas where it's like, in my family, we've had we've had our fair share of dramas, but like this was like the really first Christmas where like we really all got really well along.
Wow.
Which was really nice because like my sister has been struggling with her own like mental illnesses, and like we've had a lot of family drama there. But like this Christmas, like we got along. And we all had a really great time, and my sister like was having a great time with us, and we were all just like, oh, this is great. This is like, we're all having a really great time, and like we all like remarked about it, and it was like really nice.
Cool.
And like me and my brother, like it's so funny. Like I've had it's so weird. Like I feel like this this last year I've like had more opportunity to be open and honest with like not only my friends but like family.
Yeah.
And so like me and my brother have this kind of like very similar dynamic to what we had growing up, but like a different dynamic of just like I can kind of like talk to him about things or like kind of like be a little bit more like myself around him, but not get so like offended or sensitive at things, which is nice because like as a kid, like they know they can like push buttons, you can push buttons with your siblings, and so like they'd always like hit on my sensitivities. And like now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, yeah, that's okay, I get it, it's fun. And like it's like I get that dynamic of just like things change, but like you also there's like the old things kind of come back up, like there would be moments where like I'd notice like my sister like doing things, or like there'd be moments where I'd notice I was thinking things that my brother said, or like there was moments like there was a moment where we were riding the car, and like I think my brother and I we were playing Mario Party. Like we brought the Switch with us and we're playing it in the back seat, and my mom's like asking us a question, and like I got short with her like I was a kid. I was like, Mom, not right now. I was like, I am sorry that just happened. We were sorry. We're playing the game. What'd you want? But it's like, it's so funny. Like how as kids, like we just don't have that self-awareness or like to like look outside ourselves for a second, and like breathe. And like as adults, we're like, that was so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm going to own that. Anyways, Mom, you were saying? So it's like, that's weird. Like, it's like there's always this familiarity that that family brings out in like the role that you've had for your entire life, and like it defined you, and like then you like leave that and you like start really finding who you are in yourself, but you still keep coming back to that space, right, with like renewed senses and renewed like discoveries. It's always so interesting to me. I've always thought about that every family vacation I've ever been on.
How like you're
how I've grown, but like how I've grown separately from them,
right,
but also how much of an influence they've had on what I've had to grow from.
Yeah.
Because there's like so many experiences that I've gone through in my own personal life that every time I like, especially in the last like 15 years, I guess, of my life, I've like had to like look at how has living with my family influenced my character, and then now how have I been on my own building up my own character and like finding out who I am, and then bringing that back into like basic family that I grew up with, like cousins, aunts, uncles, grandmas. And being like, it's like still there, but also there's this whole new dynamic, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been pretty close to my family for most of my life, and like because we still live in the same town, and like I see my mom or my dad at least once a week.
That's gotta be so nice. I mean, it has elements, I'm sure.
It is nice. And like all my extended family on my dad's side moved here to open the bar, and I was the only one of like the new generation of cousins, like the third generation. Like my grandpa bought the place, my uncle ran it, and then like I was the nephew that started working for them, and like that brought a whole bunch of its own issues. But like that was through my 20s, and like we're working at bars, I'm getting wasted every night, and like so many. There's so many bad things that happened that directly affected my family, but like still we had to sit together at the fucking, Thanksgiving table and just like laugh it off and be like, and everyone, like the shit that my uncle did, like how, when he got drunk at the bar, and just like the things that we learned about each other and had to just like look past and be like, it's a very human thing to do, and like just still meet at Thanksgiving and still meet at Christmas and just like laugh it off and just remember that like old family dynamic that we still have. And like, my grandma gave me this great compliment, just like because through my 20s, because my family's so close to me, like they're watching from the sidelines, they're watching me fail, and like they're seeing it and they're commenting on it, and they're like, and I can hear their comments and I can see them talking about it, and it's like I was playing a football game and I was just fumbling the ball every play, and I would look into the stands, and I could see my grandma and my mom talking about it, just like, shaking their heads, and like, through all these, like, the relationship failures, and like the alcoholism, and like the getting DUIs, going to jail, like all these major things that like I really fucked up hard in my 20s, and like them seeing that. And then like my grandma paid me this great compliment this year, just right before Christmas, right before we left for New York. I went and got coffee with her at what's it called, Young Hickory.
Yeah.
And we went there. Yeah, we went there, and we sat for like 2 hours and just talked as people. And like it was just like she came clean about a few things, and like that was going on with her and my grandpa, and like, and I was just talking about my life and just kind of my the philosophies that I've learned and gained, and the experiences that I had. And like my mom told me that she told my mom, my grandma told my mother, and then my mom told me that my grandma had said, like, I've never seen Aleks like this at peace, and like this like in control, and this just like even. And hearing that from her after knowing what she had witnessed and knowing what trouble I had kind of caused her heart, through those years, really meant a lot. And like for my mom to see that too, and like I was really on this vacation, this Christmas trip, like I wasn't working towards being like some Zen guy, but it was like I would just hear complaints and be like, yeah, you're probably right. And like I just kind of let everything roll off me, and like I didn't have this hostility anymore. I didn't have this like anger in me that is still very present. But towards them, like I forgave them for, they're just fucking people, and I had that kind of cathartic, like you forgive your parents, and like you just, like you go through that weird thing in your 20s where you're like, man, they really fucked me up, and it's like, nah, dude, they didn't do anything. They were just trying.
They were just trying. They were like you get to that age where you're just like, oh God damn, there was no guidebook for that.
No,
like,
not at all. Like, and the thing is, my mom would read the guidebooks. She'd
yeah,
like,
and still
she'd like hold it in my face and be like, I got a book on talking back, and she would like, and I would see it. She'd have it open and like look over the top of it, at me, and be like, I'm reading it.
Oh my God, my mom did that too.
Yeah, the back talk book, like no more back talk.
I remember I found like my mom's like book stash of those. I'm like, Mom, what is this like teaching your child how to be self-conscious? Like it's like I was like these kind of like super funny books. I was like, yeah, that is my mom. But I do the same thing with my own self. So it's like I get it.
But yeah, so that was like just it was a new unique experience with my family. We did like I got a really cool night with my dad. Like Angela went home, and then like my mom was like, I'm tired of going to bed, and my dad was like, you're still trying to like go to these comedy clubs or whatever? It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take the train and go over to like, it's the Lower East Side. I think it's the Lower East Side. God, yes, it is. Lower West Side. I don't know. But where the Comedy Cellar, and there's another club like around the corner, the IFC Center Movie Theater, and the Blue Note Jazz Club are like all in like the same block, and like. I was like, I want to hit those spots while I'm there. Like, I want to go see some dope jazz. I want to go see some great New York comedy, and I want to see It's a Wonderful Life on the big screen, because it's another tradition we have for Christmas is we watch It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
And like, I was like, guys, it's playing at the IFC Center in New York. Like, we should get some fucking tickets and go watch it on the big screen, and like, I'll cry and like have our time. Like, I was trying to glue the family back together. You know what I mean? It's like we have these things, you guys. Like. We're here. It might not be another time. My mom has Parkinson's. We don't know how quick it's gonna happen. Like how like let's just fucking do this. And like for her to travel and walk like all day long, like it's really fucking hard. And like, my dad, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to that comedy club. And he was like, all right, let's go. And so like my dad and I like left alone and went to the comedy club, and it was like, nah, next show's at 12:15. We're like, it's 11. Like, it's too fucking late. Like, all right, let's walk over to Blue Note. And like, we walk over to Blue Note. Blue Note is this like legendary, like Miles Davis played there, Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, like Charlie Mingus, like all those big acts, like played and or recorded at Blue Note. And so it's like it's a well-known, famous jazz club. My dad raised me on jazz, and like, I would still listen to it in my car like all the fucking time. And like, we get to the door, and the guy was like, $65. I was like, oh shit, like a person. Oh shit.
Okay.
And so we go in, and there was this like, I don't know who the guy was, but his name was fucking something. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I have no idea what the guy's name was, but he was incredible. They were incredible. And like we get in there, and it was this little quiet jazz club. And like I told you the story at the party, but
Yeah, I love it. It's a great story.
We walked in and we had to like squeeze into the corner, and it was the weirdest thing because I never like I haven't been to a bar that's like everyone's actively being quiet. So it was like a library, but it was a packed bar, and there's just like there's a stage over there, and there's just one guy under a blue light, just like just do like really quiet, just like trumpet. Like that little like doing that thing, and we walk in and excuse me, and we get into like the corner, and we order our drinks, and it's so weird to whisper an order to a bartender like, "Oh, can I have one kettle one martini, please, and then a shot of Patron and a Miller High Life, please." I'm sorry. And then he just nods his head, and everyone's whispering, and they're like, "Shh," you're like, I'm trying to get the drink, like, and like everyone's like snapping, and but it was.
But were people really snapping?
No.
Oh, damn, because I would have been like, yeah.
It wasn't poetry.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, that's good.
No, we got stuffed into this little corner, but our view was awesome because everyone sat at the bar and we're in the corner of the bar, so we could look right over everyone's heads and see the performers. And there was this lady who came in. She was like 5'1" and just like fucking just crushed The Ocean by Led Zeppelin on violin, and like the whole band played it. It was fucking awesome, and like. The saxophone player was a monster. They were all monsters, and they were playing a lot of hits. They played "So What." They played a bunch of like old jazz hits. But like I'm just destroying this story. But it was just cool because my dad was so tired. I could tell he was because the dude's fucking 64, and he's like, I want to be in bed right now. It's fucking midnight, and I'm holding a martini, and like we just sat there, and it was just kind of cool because he made jazz such a part of my life, and as a musician, it's such a part of my life. And he's not a musician, but like he appreciates jazz so much, and like for us, it's like he kind of gifted me this like appreciation for this really cool and unique art form, and like for he and I to kind of share this like time, and we're like out in out in New York City, on Christmas, and we're at a cool little jazz club having some drinks, and it's like it was just a cool fucking night. It was, and like they wrapped it up. We got to talk to the musicians for a little bit afterwards, and then we left. And then we're kind of drunk at this point, riding the train, just like talking about oh, dude, the saxophone player came up, and like it was just this cool like shared experience that my dad and I got to have, and like you just don't get a lot of those. So I don't know. I was really thankful for that. That was like that and like seeing It's a Wonderful Life with the whole family, and my sister just being like. This movie, like, I cannot believe the way they treat women in this movie. Like, just like doing that, it's like like I love my sister to death. She's so smart and she's so talented. But God, dude, it's always a fucking. There's always a fucking problem.
Right.
There's always a like.
Something to find.
Like she asked me for an address. Just recently, she asked me for an address. She's like, "What's that cool bar like out in the desert?" And I was like, "Oh, you mean the Iron Door Saloon?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "It's right next to a place called Chinese Camp." Great job, FDR. I'm like, dude, just like, it's history. It's a part of history. Like, every time someone brings up slavery, you're gonna have something to say. Like,
right.
Yeah, it happened. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, it's just like a constant, like it's constant politics, and it's so obnoxious. And it's like, dude, when do you enjoy shit? Like, when do you like sit up and just like absorb something and not try to find the find the hole in it, she'll see something in the movie and be like, God, I cannot believe you let him treat it. It's like, it was a different time.
Right.
It was a different time. You don't understand it.
I get that same kind of annoyance with like my sister too, because like she'll kind of have like those negative comments about things, but like I just like in my head I would hear like, God, you like complain about so many things, and I'm like, you wonder why maybe you don't feel so good all the time. It's like you just like, but like, and then like if I start like noticing it, I'm like, don't get caught up in that. Just be like, all right, I got it. It's okay. Like, cause like I'm like cause like I used to be like that, like where I just like be like, oh, it's so annoying. Like my brother still gets that. He's like, oh, she's so annoying. Like I can't stand it. But like I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, okay, like that's her own thing, and like she knows how I feel about it, and like I've spoken to her about it, and like, right. But I'm just like, yeah, sure, okay. I just like I do my best to like not let it affect me, because like then I'm like, okay, then I'm just living in that same space that she's in, and that's what makes me so mad. Is like I think it makes me mad that like, and I'm sure you're the same way, as like your sister is like, don't be in that space. Why do you want to be in that space? It's like it's pointless. Why are you there? Don't do that. Like, but like you can't control people. It's like
it's like we know. Everyone knows.
Right. Exactly.
Like you're stating shit, like you're just being like, guys, the water is blue, and it's like, yeah, we fucking know. Like we like this. Yes, we know, man. Like we know this is all here.
Yeah.
Like what at one point is there any point a part of you that like wants to just shut that off for a little
Right.
while and
Yeah.
like just sit at the table and let someone bring up Trump without fucking scoffing?
Yeah.
Like, or someone like, yes, Trump's a jackass. I know. Like, we all know. We're
Right.
watching the same movie as you, dude. Like,
Watching the same movie.
Seriously.
That's going to be another podcast. Life is a movie. Yeah, no, I feel you on that. What do you think? We both had like, it sounds like we both had like pretty solid like Christmas vacations with our families, and we both had like a lot of insight. What do you think was like? Did you have like a big like, or any like big like takeaway from it, or like a big lesson that you kind of like brought back into like your own daily life, like being like, okay, that was my time with my family, and that brought something that you like tangibly were just like, oh, I learned something, or like this new insight or something.
I don't know. A lot of things change and a lot of things don't. Maybe like this is a very unoriginal thought, but I just felt super in touch. Like being around them, I felt very in touch with my like core personality and core like not consciousness, but like because that's something else. But like the details of my meat vehicle, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like the details and the things that like make Aleks what's Aleks, like that. I almost was like reacquainted with like I kind of time traveled being with them. It was like, oh, this is why I just sat in my room listening to Radiohead playing video games by myself, is because I just didn't want to listen to them bicker. I didn't want to hear the door slamming, and I didn't want to hear the like, and I didn't want my sister to come in and vent, and then my mom to come in and vent, and then I go to my dad to like, be like, what is going on with these gals?
Yeah.
Like nothing. It's not
get
like
that.
because they're women or anything, but it's just like what's going on with these two, and he's just like, I don't know, and it's like he's just completely aloof about it, and like me just being like, yeah, but this is your ship,
Right.
like you started this whole thing. But letting go of that at the same time, like re-experiencing that, but just being like,
I had that same kind of thing on mine too. Yeah.
So what did you take?
Well, it was like I had that where it was like, but it was like more noticing. Like it's like, oh wow, I could easily go back into that like space, and like I realized that. But like just being able to like appreciate having the freedom to like step away from that, but still have like them in my life. Like I still talk to my mom at least once a week. We have like a group chat that we all talk on, and we text in, and we have like a family. My mom's turning 60 and I turned 30 this year, and so we're all like trying to plan like a big like fun family vacation, like because we haven't had one. When you said that, I was like, I think we had one like a family vacation outside of visiting mom
Right.
or something. God, it probably has been about like 10, 12 years. Yeah. Because like after my dad passed away, I think it was like probably the last one we had was like before my dad passed away. So yeah, so it's definitely been at least a decade or so.
So crazy.
That's nuts. But
So much changes in that time.
but I mean I had that same thing, but I think the biggest lesson I had is like one that I've slowly had over the years, but like it was more solidified. Is like I had this the last night that I was there, my uncle kind of like went through a similar thing that I went through about this time last year. Like he just went through this like really major depressive episode. Like he had this girl that he was like he's like I think he's 3 years older than me, so he's like going to be turning 50 or he's already 50. And he's been in like I think 2 or 3 relationships in his life. He's just but he's very comfortable with that. Like he's just like I just want to be a bachelor. I like don't need to be in a relationship. I'm just like I'm cool with it. And there was a girl that he had a thing for. She was married. And so he didn't do anything with that. And then she got divorced, and he saw it as an opportunity. And she was just with somebody else at his same workplace, and he found out about it, and it just caused like something in him to like.
Whoa, you put a lot of stock in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he like realized that, and he's like, I've never been in that. He's like, I've been in a similar spot, but like I've never been that low of just being like, oof. And so like we were talking through like how like about a year ago I kind of was going through the same thing. And like we were just having like this like he was just going off and talking about it, and it was just like this contrast of being like seeing him at his age doing his work, and his relationship status that he has, and like the things that he's working through now that I have already put a lot of work in and done on my own at my age.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was a sense of greatness, but it was also like, it almost made it more of like this, like, it took this like sense of immediacy into my life, where it's like, I've been working on my acting, and like this last year has been working on traveling and just healing from my breakup recently.
Yeah.
And just kind of growing from that. But it really just brought me home to just be like, you're not going to have a lot of time. Like, it's not like a time is running out, but it's more like time is, I hate the cliches, but like time is precious.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's like,
you have
it's
this
like,
time.
yeah, like I'm going to be turning 30 this year. And like most people, it's like, that's a sobering, like, kind of like
Right.
scary thing. But like, it kind of is it's kind of gotten me to a point of just being like, okay, those things that you keep waiting to be good at, or those things you keep waiting to do, or those things you keep like thinking of as like you have to do it this way or it's not going to work in your head, just start doing those things. Just start working at those things. Mess them up. Who cares? Start doing different things. Just go and do it, and like work on things and stop caring so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, just go, because it's like, still recording. We're good.
We're good.
I think it's just realizing that's like, if you like, a big thing that I want is like financial freedom, and so like I keep thinking about that. I'm like, you're never gonna get that if you don't like start working on it. Like, you gotta, like, I really want a passive income stream. Like, I want to be not having to work to like make money by the time I'm 40.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted that by the time I was 30, but you know, things happen.
Well, you gotta enjoy your 20s.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy your 20s. But like, it's like you gotta take steps. You gotta work towards that.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just very much you have to be proactive. You have to take action. It doesn't have to be like you have to climb to the top of Mount Everest kind of action. It just has to be like, you have to be like, okay, let me see what free dates I have to climb Mount Everest. Okay, what gear do I need to climb Mount Everest?
Right.
Okay, where can I learn to climb Mount Everest?
Right.
Like, how do I get the money to climb Mount Everest? It's like, you got to take the steps if you want to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but it's also like I don't have to, I don't have to have it all. I guess it doesn't have to all be perfect in the sense of like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to make sure I do this, I have to look like this, I have to like be like this, I have to have this relationship, I have to make sure I'm like this with my friends, I have to make sure that I have this kind of place. It's like, just like, yeah, exactly. Just be like, I mean, I don't get it like that bad anymore, but it's just like being like, okay, it's good to have all the things, but like also like just, you're also just here. Just like, you know, be here now. Thanks,
Yes.
Ram Dass.
Thank you, Dr. Richard Alpert.
Richard Alpert.
But yeah, I had a lot of that too. Like, especially at the beginning of the acting. Like, I remember in my first apartment, like when I started just like trying to, like I didn't know how to book acting gigs. I was like, all right, I paid this lady $300 to like put me on her roster and like submit me to stuff. And I was like, all right, this lady will do stuff. And then she would send me on gigs, and then I would go on Craigslist and just look for shit that was casting like San Diego State and like like just random castings and stuff. And I found gigs and I got footage and I like it. But I remember during that time, I was like 22, 23. 22, 23 is like when I started really pursuing acting as like, I'm gonna do this for my life. And I remember. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Sorry, I was pointing the other direction because I was trying to make it feel like an actual
Trying to
conversation.
talk over here.
My bad. But I remember I would be sitting in my room like at night, and I like put on like just some great movie, like fuck, I don't know. I'd put on like 20 Days Later or whatever, and like it's so sick. Well, Cillian Murphy's like one of my favorite fucking actors. I've like followed his career and be like, fuck, he's doing that too. Fuck, like
Damn it, son of a bitch. Yeah, like I get those same thoughts.
And I'm
about
like,
things.
I have such a crush on him. And like, I do. And like, he plays all the roles I want to play. And like, I remember watching 28 Days Later and being like, all right, when did he star in this dope ass movie? He was 26. I have 3 years to make it to that point, and I would freak out and just be comparing myself.
Can't do it.
And I'm like, dude, I'm 23 and I'm doing this fucking. All right, okay, I'm doing like this horror like zombie feature. I'm 23. This is good, and I'm thinking about okay, maybe like the movie after this will be like 28 Days Later. You know, and I'm like, dude, that was like what? That was like 6 years ago. I'm not even fucking close to that now. I might be close. No, I'm probably still not even close. Like
you're closer in the way you like see that in like your mind. I think it's the mindset that's changed, which is like what has to change.
I thought like I'd be like on red carpets with like A-list actors in like 3 years.
Good for
By the
you
time
for like
I was,
having that
23
ambition.
years
That's a good ambition.
So ignorant. Like I guess it served me to some capacity.
I think
but,
it's funny because I think like you have to. I think it's better to have that like ambition and that like.
It's more of a
goal.
delusion. It is too, because I think
it's a delusion if you believe that that's the thing you're literally going to get. Like it's just that thing.
Really thought that.
But I think
Okay, sorry.
but I think it still serves you because like it's like I think you elicit this like grandeur dream and like vision that you have,
Yeah.
and you chase that, which is great because like you carry that into the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And you may not reach what that is, and you may not achieve what that is, but you are achieving the feeling of that in everything that you're doing because you're like chasing that.
I guess like yeah.
Like I mean that's my whole thing about like you like having those big dreams and the big goals because it's like you may not get to like. I mean, it's not to say don't have those big dreams and goals, but it's like it's okay to like have those big things and not necessarily get them because it's like the path along the way and all the experiences that you get along with that. It's because you're like, hey, I deserve like this something great thing, and I want to go after that, and everything along the way is like leading towards that.
Right.
So it's like and like look at where you are now. It's like everything has like it's like not those exact pictures, visualizations that maybe you had in your mind, but it's giving you the life that is in that feeling in that direction of that big ambitious dream,
Yeah, it just took double the time.
Yeah, it took double the time.
It took double the time to get half the distance.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that whole fucking, shoot for the stars, land on the moon thing? Like that whole fucking, like, I don't know, that whole bumper sticker philosophy, but like, I don't know, I don't know. I do remember the first time though. It was in that apartment. I Googled myself. Sorry, Mom.
Wait, why did you say sorry, Mom?
Because just Googling yourself sounds like masturbating to me.
Oh. I Googled myself, then I masturbated myself. Sorry, Mom. Who's that hot guy?
So I Googled. I remember I Googled myself when I was like 24 or 25, and the first link that came up was IMDb, and I was like, what? I did it! I made it! I just had dab. I just had like no idea, and then I remember I just cringed, just like put like a Facebook status update. And I was like, that feeling when you fucking Google yourself and you get an IMDb. Careful the mic.
I definitely pitched on that one.
Dude, it's the fucking.
That's so
cringy.
funny.
So tacky.
That's so.
But anyway,
it's so great to look at those moments though, and just I love myself so much. You funny.
Fuck.
You funny man.
Yeah. But
I love all parts of yourself.
I was so proud of it. Like I was so proud of it. And I was like, I'm on the International Movie Database. I'm on there,
dude.
And
it's like that innocence, man. You got to keep that. Like that was me and like the Star Wars fan film that I worked on. It's we didn't get paid, and
it's called Dark Resurgence.
Dark Resurgence. Just check it out on YouTube. It's amazing. It's got 100,000 views. Anyways,
100,000 views.
100,000 views, dude.
What?
And I just got nominated for Best Actor in another film festival.
Dude.
So good.
What the fuck?
I was very happy about that.
What the fuck, Richard?
What the fuck, Richard? What's that from?
It's from that video where that kid throws the frisbee on.
Oh yeah. What the fuck, Richard?
He just goes, all right, yeah, go ahead. What the fuck, Richard? It's the fucking best video ever.
But yeah, it's like I like still had this like childlike innocent excitement of just like, yeah, I'm working on this project, this is great, and everybody else on the project was like so miserable, this is so stupid, we're not getting paid, this is fucking dumb, I have to walk up this fucking hill. And I was like, guys, we're making Star Wars and we're filming and we're acting.
You gotta dial that shit back. Like that's what like I had that moment when I did Hold Your Breath in Indianapolis. Like I was in the pool and like I remember it was me and the actress and the DP were all floating the pool. And like they're trying to work out how I can better choke this chick like underwater, and like
it's a natural problem we all have. Honestly, it's like I think about it every night. And I'm like, how can I do it?
Yeah, well, just like how, and then she's like trying to figure out the DP. She's like trying to figure out the counterweight of like the water casing for the DSLR that the camera we're using, and like. I remember like I was just hearing all this jargon going around my head. I'm hearing all these people talking back and forth, and there's like all this like film jargon flying by me, and it just hit me for a second. I was like, fuck, I'm in Indianapolis right now, like getting paid to like be in this like horror short. Like I have my own hotel, I have like rides to and from set. Like this is crazy, and like I remember I stopped and I was like, wait, can we just like hold on for a second? Like, can everyone just like dial it back and just like think about how hard we all work to just do this?
It's
and
true,
like
man.
I know actors and like film people, we give ourselves so many awards, and we like it's such a masturbatory environment. It really is.
It can be. It definitely
can be.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's so hard to get a team of people to work together to make something that, and everyone work towards a goal, and there's like such reward in that.
Right.
So everyone just gets like they're on this like high of just like this is amazing, and it's just because it is, and like it is cool. But because you do work so hard to like so many people work so hard to be a first AC. I want to be a first AC. And then like someone, especially like a director of photography, like they work so hard to be a director of photography.
DPs, man.
Like that's like one of the biggest roles in the house.
So hard.
And like directors work so hard to get there, and like they have to start out at like 20 as like I'm going to be a director.
Johnny Santana coming out.
Shout out to Johnny Santana. But they do, and then they get, and like it's so rewarding to like see these things. Like I set out to do this, and I fucking got it. And like that payoff is so much better than fucking like, hey, good job on the sale there, Johnson.
Right.
Good luck selling another Chevy. You know, it's like that thing is just like, woo. You know, it's a different celebration. And it's not to shit on anyone's job, because everyone, I know people that, some of my closest buddies work in car dealerships specifically, and they fucking love what they do. They love making change, because you can change someone's life by giving them a good deal on a car. They're like, oh my God, I thought I was going to break the bank on this, and now I have this great car that I'm going to use for the next 20 years. Like, you literally helped me change my life. And like, there is reward in that. But I remember just being in that pool and just being like, God damn it, can we all just like sit for a second and just like realize how we're all doing exactly what we want to do right now?
Yeah.
And like, I just love this so much, you guys. And everyone was just like, yeah, you know, you're right. Like, again, I'm like,
It's gotta be grateful and appreciate things.
yeah. And it wasn't me. I was like a vessel for the feeling. It was like I was like a vehicle for the feeling, and it was just kind of like the words. I don't know. It's just you got to remember why you're pushing so hard to do it, and it's like, I don't know, if you make it to the top, so to speak, or you make it to like a feature length film level, or you know, make it to words, or you get to like, you know, a goal. It just feels really good to accomplish goals, man. And it's like
just to like appreciate and be grateful for that. Like
it's such an ego-driven.
Very.
It's such an ego-driven.
I think it's more easily ego-driven than any other kind of like type of thing, because it's like you're literally using yourself.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, the self is going to get inflated on that, but it's like it's also a good way to check that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was talking to someone recently about fucking actors, and she's a writer and a cinematographer, videographer, and like she was like, yeah, actors are either like they're either super enlightened or they're like totally psycho. And I was like,
no in between.
There's literally none. Like, they're literally off their fucking nut and totally narcissistic, like psycho, like off the rails, like still give good performances but just like terrible people to deal with, or they're like
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, or like Jim Carrey even. Like,
yeah.
They're like
transcendental and just like
and just kind.
Yeah.
And like really, or like The Rock. I hear he's like a super sweet person.
He's amazing.
Have you met him?
No, it's like you just like watch his interviews. He's like one of the few celebrities I follow on Instagram.
You can't tell, dude.
He's so good. No, it's Instagram. It's just like it seems like kind of like there's like, hey, what's up? But he's like so genuine about it. He just like he can pull his own leg.
I've just heard that from other people, like that. Yeah. He's just a really nice person. But there's people like that.
Shout out Dwayne, hire us on your next project. Can you imagine working with The Rock? What would we do? I don't even know. That's another podcast.
That's another conversation.
That's another conversation.
But yeah, it just seems like there's those two types. There's obviously more types, but like it's cool when you run into those who work to leave ego out of it, and we just had a little screening not a little screening. I'm so sorry. We just had a screening last night for this TV pilot called Mayflower. That this extremely talented young lady, Episi Latumbe, is working on and has been busting her ass to make happen. And like we had a screening last night at her apartment, and like it was me who acted in it, Episi who also starred in it but wrote it and produced it, and then Jay, who was our director of photography, and Kevin, who was our assistant director, and then the other assistant director or camera operator, and then the director. And like everyone was just like got along so well. What we were talking about was like, it is because I've only worked on a few sets, but like so far it's been rare to like not be around egos, and like it's an ego-driven industry, and like these people like everyone was just like everyone when they had their chance to speak was like, it was so cool to witness how nobody was above doing any job.
Yeah.
And like I love working on sets like that where it's like no one is afraid to hold a boom pole, no one is afraid to fucking clean up trash, no one's afraid to like,
That's good.
you know, to like, oh, that light needs changing, don't worry about it, put on gloves, and they're still wearing their costume when they're fucking adjusting. Like that's the cool thing about indie
That's
film,
good.
and like that's what I love about indie film is like everyone understands.
No one's above it.
Yeah, and everyone understands it takes a village, and everyone's just so psyched to be on a set because they've worked so hard to get there that they all jump in, and it's, I don't know, that's a cool thing to be a part of, is like a little tribe that is like working towards a common goal, you know, and there's a lot of power in that.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
I love that.
But that's, yeah, I don't know.
So
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, so how do we end this? I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. Should we? I don't know. How was the talking percentages?
I feel like I was like solid 50.
You do?
50.
You
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I'm working on talking less and allowing Chris to talk more. No, this is good. This is good.
No, it was good. Well, it's more me having to be like, because like I will silently observe, just like listen, because I hate interrupting people. Like, it's
interrupt
like,
me, please.
because like it's like a personal thing. Like I feel like I'm bothering people. Like I'm like, no, I want them to talk. Okay, I won't say anything.
Dude, we're past that. We're way past that.
I know.
But
Fuck you, Alex. Anyways, this is my podcast.
no, I know.
No, this is good. I like that we both had stuff to share. We both had insights. We both had experiences, and I think we both went on good trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess thanks for listening.
Yeah.
If you listen to this whole thing, God bless you.
Yeah.
I'm going to apologize because this is our second podcast and we're really just kind of winging it and trying to figure out how to do this. So if you want to keep observing the journey, thanks for joining us with the
Give us feedback.
Yeah, please. We don't have anywhere.
I mean, when we get this up, there's probably going to be a comment section or something, or hell, just look us up on IMDb and you can contact us. Just kidding.
Yeah. We'll find a way to set this up so it's not so fucking back porch. Is that a thing? Back porch?
I mean, room, back porch,
back page,
backpack. Oh.
We're just gonna set up. We'll set it up in a way, and we'll add in a thing after this probably that just says like, "Hey, here's how you can contact us." So when we do that and post this, then you could give us feedback and be like, "Hey, you guys should talk less at the end and just finish the podcast." Thanks for listening. Okay, bye.
Appreciate you guys. Bye. Love you so much. Thank you. Live your truth.
That was good. I love that.
Hey, here's how you can contact us. We set up an email. It's onatrippodcast@gmail.com. So if you want to contact Chris or I through there, we both have access to that. And thank you for listening to our Christmas episode. By the time you're going to hear this, it's going to be way the fuck after Christmas. But yeah, like I said, towards the end there, we're kind of figuring it out. So thanks for listening to us. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.